Hey y'all, how you doing? Lee Robinson here from American Sentinel K9. We're going to drop this video in a few groups while we discuss breeders, clients, and partners. So y'all have heard me talk about finding a good breeder before, and we'll reiterate a few things there, just to touch base on some of that stuff again, because I think that's a critical step in beginning any type of partnership or uh, client business relationship, whatever you want to call that. I think that is an essential component of it. But then I also want to discuss what it takes to not just find a good business, but also to have a good client. So we're going to discuss that as well. Let's see here. We're almost done dropping this in a few places. Let's see. All right. So we tag those, and then two more, or one more. All right. So we've got that done. So anyway, what's up, guys? So we're going to discuss, like I said, finding a good breeder, and then also being a good client, and then from there, possibly a good partnership. I've been owning a professional canine business since 2000. I got my bachelor's degree and master's degree in animal sciences. This is what I've done for my whole life, is have dogs. I got two young pups in my lap as I make this video. They're Sorrells dogs. They're out of Boomer and Miss Bandit. But you maybe hear them or see them move when they get up. If they get up, that they're taking a nap. I've been sitting here for a minute. But over the years, we've crossed paths with a lot of different breeders, whether it be band dog programs or American Sentinel canine programs, which is a working band dog, or whether it be pit bull breeders that we've worked with along the way. And I'm going to say finding a good client is actually not that hard. And being a good breeder is not that hard. You just have to, when you get that crossroad of making the right decision of what's the right thing to do, you just simply treat people the way you'd want to be treated. Now, unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there that just don't have the proper code of ethics. And when you see those types of people, it's kind of a tough decision on how to deal with them, because you want to treat them the way you want to be treated, but at the same time, when you can see somebody is not going to be a very cooperative person to work with, then you have to judge, what is my obligation here to deal with them in both a professional way and moral way, because you want to be professional and moral as much as you possibly can be. There's a certain person out there on the internet that says that he likes to be professional until the person that they're talking with is unprofessional, and then when they are unprofessional, then all bets are off. And I kind of understand that philosophy. However, I still want to maintain professional and ethical behavior. But calling a spade and cutting ties with the person is something that I personally don't have a problem with. But anyway, just be careful when you're finding a good breeder. Look for somebody that has proof of concept. Don't listen to people that just have rhetoric. If they just say something's phenomenal and everything's phenomenal, and they never point out any weaknesses, but they're very in their own self or their own program, but they're very quick to point out weaknesses in other people's programs, especially when they can't even prove it. They're just claiming weaknesses with no evidence, no receipts to verify any of those claims. Be skeptical of those types of people, because a legitimate program does not have to belittle other programs to make themselves look good. They're going to have their own credibility. And they're not going to have to point at other people's successes and say, look at what I did for him, or look at what I did for her. They'll be able to say, look at my productions, my own productions, and my happy clients. That's what they will be able to say. So if they have to point at someone else for credibility or to disrespect somebody, you're dealing with somebody that's probably a little shady. Now, with that said, there's basically two people that if you talk to Ryan Keaton at Deep South Sentinels, or Keaton Temple, who's one of our decoys and hog hunters that we train with, and he manages some of our dogs. Those two people are rock solid. Okay, they're good. If you interact with them, they'll treat you right, and everything will be good. But if you see somebody else claiming to be a partner of mine, be skeptical of that, because Ryan Keaton and Keaton Temple are the only two that I can really put an endorsement out on. Okay, there's been other people that I've tried working with, and maybe things will work out in time. We have some business relationships that are kind of pending in judgment. You know, like I said, this video. Let's look at the banner that I have for it. If you saw the thumbnail, it said types of thinking: win, lose, win, lose, and lose-win. I'm going to drop this. I'm going to do a screen share so you can see this while I do this. Let's see. Screen share. My Facebook page here. And we're going to zoom in on this image. Okay. So this is the image that we're going to look at. Types of thinking. We have win, lose, win, lose, and lose-win. The ideal situation is going to be the win-win. Unfortunately, there's just not a whole lot of people that think that way. A person who is win-win is going to be assertive, and sometimes because they don't have time to waste, they're going to say, look, this is what we got to do. They're going to, when they approach the situation, they're going to already have in mind some of the objectives that the other party's going to have in mind. So whenever I do business with someone, I'm thinking, what is their goal? What is their perspective? And I want to make sure that I consider that top priority. I want to make sure that I check every box on what it is that they're looking for. And sometimes, because I'm assertive about trying to find out what they want, and also assertive about making sure I deliver what they want, I generally speaking, let's just say a lot of times we think of a relationship as 50-50. I don't really think that way. I think more like 100-100. And the reason why is because I'm not thinking I'll give half if you give half. I'm more like thinking about what is it that you want, and I want to give you 100% of that, and maybe even 110, 120% of that. I always want to give the person that I'm doing business with at least what I promised, and preferably more. And I prefer to do business with people that have that same mindset. They want to deliver what they promise, and preferably more. And so it's really disappointing when I put out good faith in somebody, and they want to do a limbo where you have to rely on a word that doesn't deliver. They say they're going to deliver, but they don't deliver, and it's disappointing. So, someone here says I underpromise and overdeliver. You know, I like to promise. I like to meet the promise, but I understand where you're coming from, because there's a lot to make sure about that their expectations are not above what you're going to do, and that's what you're getting at. So I agree with you on that regard. But I do want to make sure that I understand all their needs and I can meet those needs. Otherwise, if I can't meet their needs, I want to tell them ahead of time. So, but I do understand exactly what you're saying, and I think you would agree with what I said. So I love it when people deliver on their word. You know, it's very disappointing when somebody says that they're going to do something and then they don't. And then you're thinking, okay, how do I handle the situation where I've met all the requirements that I was supposed to meet and then some, and then they drop the ball. And then when they drop the ball and they failed, they might even try to justify or excuse the situation instead of really assessing it for what it is. So make sure when you find a breeder, you have somebody that can prove what they say they can do. They have experience. They understand what it is that they're talking about. They know how to assess the traits of the dog. They know how to assess what your needs are, and then they can put the two together so you get the dog that meets your needs. Okay. All right. And with that said, Ryan and I were discussing a certain type of client that oftentimes reaches out to us. Well, let me go through this table a little bit more. So I'm assertive. So let me go to this tab here. I may be assertive as I discuss this win-win goal. I want to find out what it is that they want. I want to be polite. It says high courage for my needs. I'll explain what it is that I'm looking for, but I have high consideration of your needs as well. This is where I want all my business deals to be. I want to make sure I have happy clients and that I deliver them a good dog. And when things don't work out, because it's going to happen from time to time, that I, again, meet all their needs. I replace the dog, no questions asked. Well, maybe there'll be some questions like, the questions are not going to be if I replace the dog. The questions are going to be, what actually occurred? What were the shortcomings? Do we have a cause of the shortcoming? Did the situation, was there a genetic issue? Was it neglect? What was going on? Let's find out the situation, and then you go from there to rectify the situation. Okay, and it should be done in such a way that you consider the client, and the client should consider the business. Both parties need to come out happy. All right, now a win-lose is when a businessman is trying to take advantage of a client. They're going to be aggressive, they're going to be firm, and they're not going to be polite. They have a high courage for their needs, but they do not consider the needs of anybody else. This is a person you definitely want to avoid if you're a client, you want to avoid these types of businesses. But at the same time, if you're a business, you want to avoid these types of clients. Okay. A lose-win. All right, these people are, it depends on who they're doing business with. Okay, if a person is very passive and they're very polite and they're not firm, they are going to get cheated if they ever do business with somebody like this, a win-lose. But if a lose-win does business with a win-win, they're going to be okay, because this passive person is going to be protected by the person that's looking out for them. Because the person that considers them, they're going to take care of this person. But but this person is not willing to defend themselves. So the only protection they have is the character of the people that they deal with. Make sure, if you have a passive personality and you consider other people before you consider yourself, that you actually seek somebody out that really considers you, because you don't want to do business with somebody that doesn't consider you. If you do business with somebody that doesn't consider you, they're going to take advantage of you, and you won't have the spine to say what needs to be said. And then you may get abused too far, and then you snap, or maybe you just are depressed. You don't want, neither one of those are good. You don't want to snap, and you don't want to be depressed. So if you're a lose-win type of person because you're very passive and you're very polite and you consider everybody else before you consider yourself, make sure you're doing business with somebody that considers you. Okay. Lose-lose. This is just a bad situation. This is what you see a lot on the internet. A lot of people feel like there's a competition for the market, where they have to, that there's a fixed amount of market and they have to get a piece of that pie before someone else gets it. Personally, I don't feel like I have to compete for that pie. I feel like I should compete against myself to produce the best animals that I can, that I like. And then I put out there what I like, and then people that like what I like will find me. And then I have a win-win situation because my customer already likes what I've got. So I don't really have to deal with this, because I avoid these types of people for the most part. Occasionally, this type of person will try to sabotage my business. You'll see some other businesses that'll try to sabotage my business. And occasionally I'll have to address them and point out some of the mistakes that they've made and expose them for who they are. But generally speaking, it's pretty easy to do, because I can prove what I say, and they 9 times out of 10 cannot. And they use a lot of talk, they use a lot of rhetoric, but they don't really have the proof or the receipts to back up their claims. So they'll resort to underhanded tactics. Okay, so avoid these types of people. This is the type of people that you might find them entertaining. You might find them somebody to kind of linger with for a little bit because it's fun and exciting. But in the end, you're going to be abused if you deal with these types of people. This is not the type of person that you want to deal with. All right. So, but anyway, I was going to say earlier that Ryan and I were talking about good people to work with, and we occasionally deal with people that are professional tire kickers. A professional tire kicker is somebody that they have your browser has lost connection with your screen audio. Try sharing your screen again. Restart your browser. This continues to be a problem. Can y'all hear me okay? Let me know if you can hear me okay. I think it's just the screen audio that's that's messed up. I think my audio is working, but let me know if it's working or not. I'll tell you what. I'll mute myself and sound back. Let's see. All right. Hopefully, if there was any issue. Okay, good. They can hear me fine. All right. So Ryan and I were talking about professional tire kickers. These are the types of people that will reach out to you and they'll ask you if you'll hold a puppy for them. Sometimes they will place a very, very small deposit, and sometimes they'll place no deposit at all. And then they'll ask you, "Can you hold this dog for me?" And then they may even show up and ask if they can get it on an IOU. That's not a good situation. A professional tire kicker is, you don't encounter them too often, but occasionally, well, I take that back. You do encounter them quite a bit, but very seldom am I actually baited by those people. Maybe if I've done business with them before, I may be baited by them a little bit further than I should be because I trust them based off of past experiences, and then I end up getting cheated in the end. But that's not really what I'm talking about here. For the most part, what I'm talking about is the person that wants to waste your time asking questions that are available to be answered on the website. And look, you find a good business, but also be a good customer. A good customer should spend a little time going through the website. All right, this is just a little bit of background information. Don't get me wrong, you're welcome to contact me if you have questions, but do a little bit of your preliminary work. Okay, check out the program. You have a responsibility as a client to protect your best interests, and it's going to be well worth your time to spend a little time checking out to see if the person that you're dealing with is credible. Okay, we have a lot of information. That's just our homepage. Here we have our band dogs, current breedings, upcoming breedings. If you want to contact me and say, "Hey, what do you have available?" The question should be, is your website current? Because you should really already have checked out my website. We already have listed what's available, what's been sold, what's not available, etc. Okay, and so you can check that out. See, all males are sold. I've got 2 females available. Okay, that type of information. Sold, reserved, etc. So this type of information is available on the website. And if you want to know questions about any specific dog, go to our males and females page. You can click on these dogs and it'll take you to their pedigree. You can click on that photos tab. Oops, let me go back. Share this tab again. So now I clicked on that picture and it took us here. And from when we're here, we can click on the photos tab and you can see pictures of these dogs. So you can click right here and you can see multiple pictures of the dog. Okay, this is Bumper. All right, so from there you can see the pedigree. You can see pictures of his ancestors, okay? And we even listed in what breeds they are. Okay, this is one of our band dogs, by the way. So let's go back to this tab. So go through this website if you want to know more about our American Pit Bull Terrier. Well, let's look here. Dogs we've owned or produced. We have 2 pages of dogs that we've produced. You should be able to access this page on your phone, but look, make sure that breeder that you're dealing with can look. These are different dogs. Each one of these is a different dog. We have 60 dogs here from over the last 25 years that we've produced: 2009, 2023, 2008, 2016. The reason they're in this year order is because we've actually listed them alphabetical order: Annie Oakley, Anvil, Bandit, Bertha, and we go from A to Z through this list. Okay, and we have 2 pages of this. Each one is a video of the dog working. All right. Not only do we have the videos, this was 2005, 2023. Not only do we have videos of these dogs working, but we also have pedigrees where you can click on the dog, just like I just did, and you can see these dogs and their ancestors, right? So do your research, and let me make sure this tab is showing correctly. Yes, do your research before you contact that breeder, and it'll save you a ton of time. I didn't mean to actually stop my screen share. I was trying to switch to a different screen, so let me fix that. All right, so Next, we have our pit bull program. If you want to see our pit bulls, just click on the tab. Okay, when you click on that drop down tab, you just click right here, our pit bull program, and it'll tell you a little bit about the American Pit Bull Terrier in general. One of our early foundation dogs for our Sentinel program was a pit bull named Captain Skip, and then you're going to be able to see, knock it off. Okay, the good boy. You'll be able to see the dogs through the history. We're running mostly Sorrells dogs. They just had their ears cropped, so they're probably a little sensitive. This is Jackknife. This is Pumpkin. You can click here and see our males page. You can click here and see our females page, right? So you can go through there and you can click on her pedigree if you want to. All right, share this tab instead. All right, so you can see how she's bred. Okay, so do your research, and if you do your research, then not only are you helping yourself, but you're also helping your breeder, because professional tire kickers waste a lot of time. It takes a lot of time to maintain that website. This is where we do a bite here on a bite suit, with doing a bicep bite. Professional breeders, we have to manage our websites, we have to manage our clients, we have to manage our dogs, we have to deal with puppies that have ear crops and things like that. It takes a lot of work. And so while we want to do everything that we can to help our clients, we also like it when our clients respect that they do their respect us enough to do their preliminary research. If you want to contact us to say, hey, is this the right dog for me? I'm going to buy a dog in a year or two. I'm not quite ready yet. That's fine. Give us a holler after you do your research and you still have more questions. Okay, there's nothing wrong with being extra preliminary. However, say that up front. Say, look, I'm interested in a dog in a year or two. I'm organized. I got a few questions for you. I don't want to waste your time. I want to be efficient. Here are my questions. Boom, A, B, C, D, E. Get your answers and then move on. And then just watch the website and contact us again when you're actually ready to proceed. One of the worst types of clients that we can have is a person that says, oh, that breeding's coming up right now. I really want the third pick. I can't afford the first pick, but I'll be able to afford that third pick. And then, but I'm not ready yet. Can you hold it for me for a week? I'll send you the money in a week. And then the deposit, maybe $1,000 deposit, and then they send you $100 or $200, and they say, I'm going to send you another payment in another 2 weeks, or maybe no money at all. Say, can you? I'm running a little tight. Look, don't do that. It's not fair to us. It's not fair to our dogs. One of the jobs that we have as a breeder is to make sure that our dogs have homes when they're of age, and it never works out. Okay, when somebody is that tight on finances, I get it. It happens, right? People go through hard times, but if you're that hard on finances, just wait. Just wait. The buying a dog now is not what you need to do. You need to get your finances in order. So when you have a dog and an accident happens, because accidents do happen, you have an emergency fund in position so you can take care of it. Whether it be an accident with your car, an accident with your family, maybe the plumbing needed to be fixed, maybe your starter on your car went out, you had to buy a battery, whatever it may be. Maybe your kid fell down and skidded his knee and you had to go to the doctor, right? Or whatever it is. You need to have an emergency fund, or maybe your dog got sick. All right. These are important things. If you're that strapped on cash, I get it. Times can be tough, especially in this economy. But don't put it on the breeder and don't make them delay finding that dog a home because you're not ready. A good breeder will have another litter in time that will fit your needs. There's no one best dog in the world. Okay, a good breeder is going to be able to produce consistent animals time and time again, and they'll be able to fulfill your need in a future breeding. Okay, so just take your time and don't just kick the tires of the dog or of the breeder. Don't just be a professional tire kicker. Is what I'm saying. You're wasting time. Wait till you're ready, and then when you're ready, then proceed. Okay, it's not fair to the breeder to ask him to wait. It's not fair to the dog to make them be in limbo whether they have a home or not. You know, because as an ethical breeder, I want to treat you with respect, but I end up paying the price when I'm trying to consider your needs and you're not ready yet. So, you know, find a good breeder, but also be a good client. And then after both of those things are done, then maybe you can actually graduate to a partner. And a partner is somebody that I think they have what it takes. And the first important thing is character. If they have character and they're interested in really developing themselves as a breeder, I want to develop one. I'm not going to develop the character of a grown man or a grown woman. They're going to already have to have that. If they don't have character, then we're not going to graduate to the next level. But if they do have character, then maybe I can help them develop an education, or maybe I can help them develop an eye, or maybe I can help them develop a program. And in time, that program can be a win-win situation where if they did it on their own, which most people do, and most people disappear within 5 years, it's expensive doing this properly. It's very expensive and it's a lot of work. And to sustain 5 years, 10 years, or 20 years like myself, 25 years like myself, really a lifetime, because even before the 25 years, I had 2 degrees in animal sciences. So you could say 35 years, because this is what I've spent my life doing since I was 20 years old, studying dogs. So it takes a lot of work to get there, and a good partner or a dedicated person is going to want help. And while it's possible to do it on your own, it's a lot harder. And I know that I can help people succeed because I know what it takes to get there. But at the same time, they have to have the character first. If they don't have the character, you got to be a good business, you got to be a good client, and you got to be a good partner. Otherwise, it's not worth it. Anyway, those are a few of the thoughts that I had. I'll look at these comments and then I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Let's see. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good afternoon, Lee. Hope all is well with you and the family. Thank you. Always under promise and over deliver. Good to see you on here, Lee. Yes, I agree with what you're saying. By the way, it's Eric. Just in case you didn't know, it's me. Hey, what's up, Eric? That's the guy that helped me with the pedigree stuff. Eric is the one that helped me with this new pedigree database that we have on our website. So thank you very much, Eric. That's awesome. I have a Sentinel from Deep South Sentinels. We had a lot of conversations about what I wanted, and he matched me up with my dog. Matched you great with the dog. That's perfect. All right. Great YouTube channel. Thank you very much. All right. So those were just a few closing thoughts. Check out our website for more information. Let's look at a couple more pages and then I'll sign off. Let's go up here to our pit bulls. All right, so we have our females pit bulls page, and you can click on those pages and a couple other drop down windows we have. We have our males page. We have a little bit of history about the Sorrells dogs and why we like them. That's a list of dogs that he's produced. This is a basic list of the ancestry of the Sorrells line. Of course, Boomerang is underrated in this list. Huge. Boomerang's in here really more than Bert Sorrells showed. A little bit about his history. That's Madison Parker right there, and his brother Skip, who has passed away, unfortunately. And then these are some of the Sorrells greats in the past that we have on our website. So we've got a lot of information if you want to learn about these dogs in the past. There's a ton of stuff on our website. Then here's some videos we have with Madison Parker, and he discusses the Sorrells line as well. And then that's just one part of the Sorrells stuff. Back up here at the top, we also have some general pit bull information, a little bit about Sorrells here. And we have some of a link to our breeding page, a little bit about Madison Parker, a little bit about Pat Patrick. He actually has gotten several dogs from us. He gave us his ADBA Dogman Hall of Fame, so thank you for us delivering his great dogs to him. We got a little tribute page to Pat Patrick. I'll click on that in a second. And here's what Madison Parker and Pat Patrick had to say about our dogs. So let's click on this page. Tribute to Pat Patrick. This is a cool little video about the Patrick strain, which is very similar to the Sorrells strain, if you don't know it. And Patrick is behind the Mayday stuff, so if you want to know more about that. He's done a bunch of interviews with my friend at Battlebred Canine, Eric Lawton. Okay, and Eric Lawton has one of our dogs. That's Patrick, one of our dogs out of Frankie Bomp in Komodo. Okay, and that's Pat Patrick. He's a Dogman Hall of Fame with the ADBA. All right, so we've got, like I said, I don't want to keep scrolling here. You can check that out if you want to. Then we have a page about our services, who we are. Check the breeder that you're dealing with. Make sure that they're credible. Look to see if they're licensed with the state. If they have an education in the field. We have a master's degree and a bachelor's degree, AI certified. We are licensed with the state. And This is just a little bit of our history. There's our state license. Okay, so do your research, and after you do your research, then contact them before purchasing a dog from us. Here we have we explain our registration process. This is our registration certificate. If you get an American Sentinel, our American Pit Bull Terriers are going to be ADBA registered. I am supposed to be charging $25 for these registrations because I have to sit down and type in all this information. I do not have a program that drops this for you, and I've never charged for it, and I need to stop giving that away because it takes me an hour to fill this out and go mail it. Okay, so I really need to be charging for that. Ear cropping is a $400 fee that's not required. If you want to get an ear crop, it's $400. It's done by our vet. If you don't want an ear crop, then you don't have to get that. The tails are done on all the American Sentinels, but none of the American Pit Bull Terriers. Okay, so this is just some background information. Like I said, frequently asked questions page. What does it take to create just a bunch of questions? Go through this page and see if you find your question. If you don't find your question, you still have a question, reach out to us. We have American Sentinel Canine Apparel. We only charge $10 flat rate shipping. Why? Because I am not interested in making money on a bunch of clothing. I don't sell a bunch of clothing. Okay, we have our hats. I have a few hats I need to give out to some people that have bought a membership to our members only page because we had a promotion where we were giving a hat to people that bought our membership for our page. This is one of our American Sentinel canine shirts that I'm wearing right here. And then, there's the jackets. The jackets are pretty cool. I prefer the Dunbrook jacket over the what's the other one? Port Authority. Port Authority's nice, but it should say Dunbrook. I'll fix that. The Dunbrook seems to be just a tiny bit better quality, but it is a little bit more expensive. And then Built to Last Canine Equipment. I don't do a lot of manufacturing. These are ours right here that we produce, and these are ours that we produce, but I am not interested in trying to sell a bunch of this stuff. We will sell it just because we need it, and sometimes other people need it. But if you just want a good collar or a good leash, reach out to this company. This is owned by Brandon Phillips, and he's a stand-up guy with good products, and you can click on that and go to his page. Okay, and here's a link to his page. So this is like a good partnership here. He's a friend, he provides good service, and he's somebody I trust. So that's why I put him on my website, and I do not get any commission for helping him be successful. That's just the way a good partnership works. Okay, and there was another tab on the far right. Let's see what that last tab was. Oh, okay, I exited that. Let me go back and share that one more time. Share screen. Okay, so somebody asked why Dock Tails. So on that question, why Dock Tails, we have that answered right here on our page. Cropped ears and Dock Tails. That's that last tab right here. Best all-around size of the dog. Then why cropped ears and Dock Tails? Well, cropped ear is a more natural ear. It can breathe and ventilate. Doesn't get the fungus and stuff like that in it. Every wild mammal has an erect ear because it gets sound in and moisture out. Okay. As far as the cropped tail, we only do that on the American Sentinels. We do not do it on the American Pit Bull Terriers. Some people have this myth idea that it really affects balance. It doesn't really affect balance like that much. And if you actually look at the bobcat and the cheetah, or excuse me, the bobcat and the lynx, which are close quarters combat ambush type predators, they have short tails. The cheetah, which is a high speed courser predator, it does have a long tail. But our dogs work as close quarters combat dogs. They're protection dogs and hog catch dogs, which means they're working in dense quarters and woods or in houses and bedrooms and living rooms and cars and stuff like that. And the tail tends to be more of a prone to injury in those types of situations. Plus, its weight. And the dogs just move great without it. I mean, we do a mid-length dock. I don't do a short dock because I want to be able to see what they're thinking. Plus, if I need to grab that dog, I can put one hand on the tail, one hand on the collar, and I got the front end and the back end as a handler. But it's still very unlikely to get injury. Also, when the dog's living in the house and they're wagging that tail all the time, it's slapping against the crate or slapping against the wall. Tung, 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 tung. and the tip gets bloody. So that's why we do a mid-length dock. But if you want to read up more about that, you'll see that additionally, Golden Kings Champion Silver is the only canine gladder in history that beat 3 grand champions and a champion, and he did this with a dock tail. Okay, so they can actually still move very well. And then on this More tab, we have a description about what is a family companion guardian. You can read that page if you want to. A little history on the band dog in general. We talk about the Swinford band dog and just the band dog in general. This this is more of a evolution of my beliefs about creation. And if you want to look at that, that's just kind of a philosophical thing that I just put out there because I feel like my purpose in life is to serve God. And so I have a little bit of my information there about my beliefs there. Registration etiquette. For the American Sentinel, we put breeder first and owner second. Okay, with the American Pit Bull Terrier done with the ADBA, they don't seem to follow that rule. You can pretty much do whatever you want with the ADBA as long as the breeder signs off on it. Okay, seeking a win-win deal, that's what this is about here. Okay, some people want a free lunch. Okay, free lunch, $10. No such thing as free lunch. We do our part as a breeder, and I expect you to do your part as an owner and client. Okay, take care of your animals, and don't if you neglect your animal and you don't get heartworm medication, don't come crying to me when it gets heartworms. That's on you. If you leave an 8-pound puppy outside in 20-degree weather, don't cry to me when the animal's passed away from neglect. Okay, that's an unfortunate situation that unfortunately I know of happening, and it bothers me. Okay, but it is what it is. Hire a local professional if you need training. If you are in New York and I'm in Mississippi, don't contact me for training. Find somebody in your area. It's going to work better that way. Okay. The next we have Swinford Band Dog. We're going to skip the other one, the Shady Practices thing. This may be, let's see. Oh, we got to scroll down. Members only tab. So we have our membership here. This is these membership only tab. These are for things that for people that buy a $100 membership for a year. They can click on those articles and links and read up on those tabs. If you do buy a membership right now, we're giving a hat for the people that buy a membership. Okay, limited time, $100 annual membership, which is $8.33 a month, but it's billed annually. We're going to give you a free hat. That's just temporary. That's not going to last for very long. Okay, so with that said, let me go ahead and sign off on this now. I'll look at the last few questions. Hey, somebody sent me $10. Thank you. Appreciate that. Who was that? I'll see that in a minute, maybe. Great YouTube channel. I put a lot of work daily for myself and others. You're welcome. That's what it's all about, helping each other. I agree. How did Jackknife Boomer compare to each other? Boomer is just an absolute beast of a dog. Jackknife is a dog that looks great on camera. He's very physically fit, very athletic, and he's a great dog too. Boomer's bigger. I wouldn't know how to answer that question because we don't compare them to each other. We compare them to themselves and to my vision of a goal. They both meet my standards. Okay. How are your dogs with new family members and small children? Our dogs are good with the family members and children, but let's say it's a father-in-law that they've never met and he's a grown man. They don't know he's a father-in-law. Okay, so you have to be careful about that kind of stuff. Now, if they meet them on a regular basis, that's fine. Okay, then they'll be fine with it. Just use good caution, good judgment. We've answered that one. I was told boxers sway back, dysplasia from generations. No, I don't believe that for a minute. Hip dysplasia is going to be caused by something else besides the dog tail. It's not because they. Look, if the dog has hip dysplasia and it does this, it probably doesn't help it, but that's not going to cause it. Dysplasia causes something called degenerative joint disease because, all right, so you have the hip, which has a socket, and then you have a femur, which has a ball, and that ball goes in that socket. And when it's displaced, it's getting space in that socket, which allows the femoral head to move around in that socket. And so maybe if they have dysplasia, the wagging of the body causes it to bump and bump and bump and cause arthritic conditionings in it, known as degenerative joint disease. But the wagging itself is not going to be an issue. There's the amount of it's just not going to cause dysplasia from wagging. I hope that makes sense. Do a little research on it, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But good question. Great show, and y'all have a great weekend. Thank you for the support. We appreciate it. Y'all have a blessed day.